fires caused by PG&E's negligence. We will not be silent as long as people are continually being poisoned and killed. People burned the fuck alive. Have some fucking sense and quit protecting the problem. PG&E and you are guilty.
There will be no meeting. Go. This meeting is over. Adjourned. It is over. We will not let you continue to have your meeting today.
Shut it down!
Shut it down! Shut it down! Shut it down! Shut it down! Shut it down! Shut it down! Shut it down! Shut it down! Shut it down! Shut it down! Shut it down! Shut it down! Shut it down! Shut it down! Shut it down! Shut it down! Shut it down! Shut it down! Shut it down! Shut it down! Shut it down! Shut it down! Shut it down! Shut it down! Shut it down! Shut it down! Shut it down! Shut it down! Shut it down!
Shut it down! Shut it down! Shut it down! Shut it
I
down!
don't want any more discussion. You go home and think about what we said.
PG&E has got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! PG&E has got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! PG&E has got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! PG&E has got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! PG&E has got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! PG&E has got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! PG&E has got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! PG&E has got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! PG&E has got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! PG&E has got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! PG&E has got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! PG&E has got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! PG&E has got to go!
Let PG&E go bankrupt! No more
workers'
debts!
wages
Enough, enough!
and approving bonuses for $8 million. Why are you doing that? What's
How much
with
are
you?
they paying you?
You're just lackeys.
PG&E has $1 billion
You're
of
lackeys of
profit.
the
That's a
corporation.
crime.
And why do we have to pay for millions of dollars of PG&E ads on TV when they're a monopoly? But we have to pay millions of dollars for those ads, and you approved them. You approved their budget. You approved their spending.
How much they
You
pay
are
you?
enablers of PG&E and all these corporations to make as much in the way of profit as they possibly can, regardless of our health or even our lives.
President Picker, you're complicit! Step down!
Sarah, this is Rowan. He's 20 months old, and already twice in his life he's had to breathe in toxic smoke from wildfires caused by PG&E. I also work at 2 schools in my neighborhood in Fruitvale in Oakland, serving low-income kids. They're running around on the playground with no mask on. They're going back inside to their school that has no air filter, and then they're going home to their house that has no air filter. They're breathing in toxic smoke. I'm terrified for his future and for all of their futures. When I found out that the CEO of PG&E got $8 million last year, that's $8 million that could have gone to fixing the lines and preventing this. $8 million that could have gone to protecting the children in my neighborhood from the effects of smoke. $8 million that could have gone to switching to renewables faster so their future isn't going up in smoke. And then I find that we, the families of those children, are being asked to pay for this negligence instead of that CEO who got $8 million. That's crazy to me. Our kids need a safer, cleaner future. They need to be protected from climate change. The state needs to take over the utilities and make.
All right, so Esther Gould before the record. I'm here today not only to speak about PG&E. I'm here today talking about the air quality on every single day. Our air quality is shit in East Oakland.
Yeah.
We breathe toxic air every day. PG&E is accountable for all these fires. They should not be bailed out. What about the unhoused people that can't go inside? What about the not privileged people that don't have filters in their home? What about that? What about the masks that we couldn't get a hold of? Where is the accountability period for any of these regulators? Your body, all the other bodies, the air, the water, our soil, our health. These are our futures. These are our community needs to have the power to run our own everything. You understand that? Move. We have just transitioned. We need.
Hello, I just want to clarify that there are currently 88 dead, 200 missing, 14,000 homes burned, 150,000 acres burned. We're here to say never again, no bailout. This is bullshit. No more profits over people. We can totally, it's better for everyone if we localize and democratize our energy. It's totally possible, and people like you are preventing that from happening, and people are dying because of you. So you need to we need to do away with the CPUC. We actually need local, democratic, commissioners that are invested in changing the entire system.
With East Bay DSA, electricity is a human right, so it needs to be run for people and not for profit. PG&E cuts costs so that they can transform public investment into private profit. Gaisha Williams, the CEO of PG&E, makes $8 million annually.
Shame!
How many miles of wire could be turned underground for $8 million annually? This PG&E is making this entire situation is the same mistake as the 2008 financial crisis. It was only 10 years ago. Needed utility cuts costs for profit, and it gambles with people's lives, and they get rewarded for it. And the answer for PG&E is the same as it was in 2008. Don't reward it, nationalize it. Take it over, bring it into the public, and no more profits.
For myself, I just want to say that PG&E fucking sucks. Because of their negligence, a lot of people lost their homes, and I'm having a scratchy throat, scratchy eyes, and like freaking my health is like in decline. And it's not just wood in that air, it's freaking petrochemicals too. And what we need is for a state takeover and no more financial incentives for these billionaires to freaking fuck with our health and fuck with our earth. And I just want to say that the people have the power to make sure that there's public power in all of California.
Good morning, my name is Alexander Post. I moved to San Francisco in 2004 to go to Golden Gate Law School, which had a great environmental law program, as you know, Cliff. But I'm from Chico originally. I was just there recently visiting family and friends who've been affected by the fire, friends who've lost their homes, who've lost everything, friends who are assisting in recovery efforts, who have horrific stories about what they're uncovering there, and refugee camps in Chico. This is the second straight year that we've had to choke on the carbonized remains of our neighbors. It's evil, but it's not illogical, because if you're going to continue to bail out PG&E, to provide public money to socialize their losses, what is their incentive to be safe, to act safely? There is none. You have to hold them responsible. That means not bailing out PG&E for killing our neighbors, for destroying their homes.
Jackie Barshat, DSA San Francisco. You really need to listen to these people. I know that you all have an agenda, but you really need to listen to this community. Ratepayers will no longer pay for PG&E's long history of diverting revenue from public safety to fund executive bonuses, and your pockets also. Apologies, fines, changes in management, they don't work anymore. PG&E has got to go the way it exists now.
Yes.
So instead of bailing out PG&E, we want the utility to be taken over entirely as a public power agency, with the community controlling its infrastructure. Public power you know already exists in other cities and districts in California. In every one of those cities, PG&E's rates are much lower. And 60% of the electric utilities in this country are publicly run. Why not PG&E?
Thank you, Ms. Barshak. Can you wrap it up?
My name's Lee Dickholtz. Thank you for having me here. Quick. Yeah, thank you. How many people here like breathing dead people? Any hands? Any hands? I didn't think so. Yet that's what all of us were doing for 11 days. Many, many more than could come here. So our smoke going all the way out to New York. Incinerated remains? That's wrong. Okay, look, bailing out PG&E, that's putting a rubber stamp on disregard for human life, well-being, and property. That's telling the execs and shareholders your priorities and earnings are more important than making sure you don't burn down the stage. Cal Fire said of the PG&E that they started 12 of the October 2017 fires. Now, what came about of that? Well, Gush Williams got a $7.5 million bonus. Is that how you reward someone for doing a good job? It kind of sounds to me like getting away with murder. That's right. You kill people, that is murder. So, gosh, I'm out of time here. In short, I will say that PG&E is sick, not to be trusted, not to be rewarded. California is watching everyone here, all the legislators. If you give PG&E the opportunity to burn us again, that's the end of your careers.
My name is Barbara Stebbins. I'm with the California Alliance for Community Energy. I want to talk about this commission. The commission's disregard for the welfare of the people of California has never been more blatant than when President Picker made a statement of the commission's intent to rescue PG&E in order to rescue that company's falling stock, while bodies from the campfire were still being counted and are still being counted. We are in an existential crisis, and no profit-driven model for energy in California will save us. The commission must take measures to move to an energy model focused on addressing the catastrophe of climate change, which starts with not bailing out monopoly utilities.
My name is Jay Redwoods. I'm with Cassandra Williams. We're co-founders of Mask Oakland. We distributed 85,000 masks. That's more than all Bay Area governments combined. That's a sign of neglect. And it's a sign of intimidation by corporate powers that don't want to take action. When I was getting up here, somebody in a suit said, "How many of these clowns do we have to listen to today? Well, how many clowns are we going to let kill? What would happen if I killed everyone in this room? I would go to jail for the rest of my life. If I killed one person in this room, I would go to jail for the rest of my life. Well, 88 people are dead at the hands of PG&E. Again. Black and brown communities, 90% black, already have asthma, are dealing with this smoke. Millions of people hit by this smoke. Volunteers are doing more than you are. Communities are doing more than you are. Disabled, queer, and trans people are doing more than you are. You need to act, or you need to get out of the way. PG&E needs to be shut down for these crimes. No profits for death.
Good morning, Beto Washte. My name is Quanah Parker Brightman. I'm Executive Director of the United Native Americans. I'm here to speak and give voice to the voiceless, who are the indigenous population whose land you currently occupy. Seeing this catastrophic damage that's been going on with PG&E, thousands of lives have been lost because of the negligence and incompetence of this insidious organization that you govern. When are you going to take some real action to listening to the people here that you are supposed to be listening to? You're supposed to be taking in these comments. You're supposed to be judging what's going on and taking some real action to protecting the people. I'm disgusted to see 88 lives being lost. There's over 200 people still missing. We have an entire town be demolished, be it Paradise. And you got this President Trump who comes in and doesn't even have FEMA come in and give these people adequate housing. These people have lost their homes and their lives, their livelihoods, everything. It's disgusting to see this go on in America today, in 2018. I am sick and tired of seeing this white greed go on. It's time that you all are accountable. All of you foreign invaders, you colonizers, go the fuck home.
PG&E, democratize our energy. Don't bail out PG&E, democratize our energy. Don't bail out PG&E, democratize our energy. Don't bail out PG&E, democratize our energy.
Justice for paradise!
Justice for paradise!
Justice for paradise! Justice for East Oakland! Justice for Richmond!
Justice for Richmond.
Clean air for all!
Clean air for all!
Fight pollution! Fight corruption! Stop PG&E! Stop PG&E!
Stop PG&E!
No more corporate greed!
Get rid of the CPUC.
Get rid of PG&E and the CPUC and all the utility corporations. We need more community choice. There's no issue more important than this right now. Community choice.
We get all the foreign immigrants out of our country.
If it was in our hands, people would not be dying of pollution. People would not be dying being burned alive. Let's get rid of the CPUC. Let's get rid of PG&E. Let's get rid of California.
Shut it down! 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 You'll see us all dead and fucking extinct! Shut it down! Shut it down! Shut it down! Shut it down! Shut
Nationalize
it
PG&E!
down! Shut it down! We're not meeting today! Go home! Go to lunch!
Nothing on your agenda is more important than this.
That's right.
Nothing on your agenda is more.
We'll be back.
Victor, you're a murderer! No business as usual. Your business is murder!
We'll be back.
Andrew Williams, one of the co-founders of Mask Oakland.
So first of all, why don't you talk about what happened here today to you?
Well, there were many people from the community that stepped up to speak, so many that they restricted everyone's time to 1 minute. And there were a lot of really impassioned responses to the corruption that's happening with PG&E and the CPUC. We were able to draw attention to the fact that there are so many people that have died, that have been otherwise affected, have lost their homes
So what happened
due to
after
these fires.
the hearing?
And then after the hearing, there was a disruption, and the police actually came in and escorted people out. Were taking signs that they were carrying,
So what happened to
even
you?
8x10 signs. I was standing there after everyone else had left, taking some photos quietly and texting them to my co-founder for our Twitter, and I was intentionally shoved by one of the the employees here at the commission.
What's his name?
Christopher Chen. I
So he shoved you?
I followed him out and demanded to see his badge. So yeah, that's what his name is. Yeah, I was standing by myself quietly, just taking photos, and all of a sudden I got really shoved from my left side, and I looked over, and he was there, and he just smugly looked at me and said, "Excuse me." And I said, "You just intentionally did that." And he's like, "Oh no." He just stared at me. like that because he wanted me to leave. He didn't like that I was standing there taking up space, taking photos. So
What does that say about somebody who comes to public agencies to protect the public utility commission?
well, I'd say they're definitely not protecting the public. They weren't protecting me. They were protecting their image. I think that maybe he felt threatened that I was taking photos, that I was texting. I think maybe he thought that I was saying something that he wouldn't like to read later. I'm not sure. But yeah, so he went out of his way.
What do you think should be done about him?
Well, he should certainly have to be held accountable for that. When I approached him, he and got his name. At first he tried to lie and say he didn't have a badge, and that was just ridiculous because it was hanging from his neck and tucked in his pocket. So I saw it and I got a picture of him with his badge. But then I went to speak to another employee here and told them about it, and she's like, oh, well, I saw something different. So, and then the police officer that overheard this said, well, you were being aggressive with him out here. You asked him for his name. And I was like, I was asking him for his name. I didn't threaten him and I didn't touch him physically. So, yeah.
And what's your name?
My name is Cassandra Williams.
Okay. And what group?
I'm one of the co-founders of Mask Oakland.
Okay, good. Thank you.